What happens if Earth gets not just one moon, but 100 at once? Right now, we are going to launch this insane scenario and start throwing new satellites into our orbit. At first, it looks simply mesmerizing, a perfect dance of giant rocky worlds right above our heads. But very quickly, our planet turns into the epicenter of a gravitational nightmare. The orbits go crazy, the moons start ramming into each other at full speed, the sky literally disappears behind a wall of fire, and a storm of red-hot debris crashes down on Earth. And the scariest part is, we don't know at what exact moment the system will completely break. Will Earth survive the bombardment of 20 moons? What will be left of it at 50? And what does a real doomsday look like when the orbit closes in a death grip of 100 giant objects? Today, we are going to conduct perhaps our most brutal orbital experiment. And believe me, the finale of this chaos turned out to be much worse than I could have ever imagined. Fasten your seatbelts. We are starting. This is our Earth, and our only constant guardian, the Moon. For billions of years, they have been spinning in this slow, safe dance. Their gravitational balance is so perfectly tuned that the Moon has even synchronized its rotation and always faces us with just one side. It is perfect stability. But the universe does not tolerate boredom. Let's break the main rule of orbital mechanics and see what happens if we strip Earth of its solitude. Today's experiment: 100 moons in Earth's orbit. Look at this space. It no longer belongs to us. The orbits of dozens of massive rocky spheres intersect, tangling into a chaotic knot and forming a dense, unpredictable web around the planet. Imagine the night sky on Earth at this moment. It is completely dotted with giant, rocky worlds. Some fly by so close that their gravity distorts the clouds, while others glide quickly against the backdrop of stars. It is the most beautiful sight imaginable, and at the same time, the most deadly. From an astrophysical standpoint, what we are seeing right now is a mathematical nightmare. In science, there is the famous three-body problem, proof that the motion of three gravitationally bound objects is impossible to predict, and sooner or later, their orbits will collapse. And here, we have dozens of bodies. The gravity of each moon relentlessly affects its neighbors. They pull at each other, distort trajectories, and knock each other off course. But the worst part right now is for Earth itself. Lunar gravity controls our tides. Now imagine the oceans being pulled in dozens of different directions simultaneously. Mega tsunamis kilometers high rage across the planet, and the Earth's crust cracks from incredible tidal heating. Every volcano in the world wakes up, and then the inevitable happens. The first collision. Two giant moons couldn't share the same orbit. A monstrous kinetic impact occurs. The energy released in such a collision is billions of times greater than humanity's entire nuclear arsenal. Solid rock instantly melts. The perfect order has completely collapsed. The so-called Kessler syndrome kicks in, a chain reaction where debris from one explosion becomes projectiles that pierce through other moons. Look at what near-Earth space is turning into. Hundreds of thousands of fragments are grinding each other into dust at colossal speeds. All this incredible kinetic energy turns into heat. Rock literally vaporizes. Turning into superheated plasma and silicate gas. A gigantic fiery red cloud forms around Earth. We are trapped inside a blazing nebula that looks more like an accretion disk around a black hole than the orbit of a living planet. From the surface of the Earth, neither stars nor the sun are visible anymore. Only the eerie, blood-red glow of red-hot dust, reaching temperatures of thousands of degrees. Earth's atmosphere begins to boil away. But the gravitational nightmare is only gaining momentum. Space continues to fill with more and more objects until their number reaches 100. The system compresses to a critical limit. The distances between the moons become so small that some of them cross the Roche limit, an invisible boundary beyond which Earth's gravity simply tears them to pieces with tidal forces, even without collisions. Earth has turned into a tiny target in the center of the largest cosmic shooting gallery in in the universe. Moons collide, change trajectories, and tear each other apart right above our heads in a boiling ocean of red dust. But the main question is, can the planet itself survive this endless bombardment, or will one of these 100 moons ultimately put the final period in our history? We have added almost half of the planned 100 moons, and just look at the absolute chaos we've already created. Earth's hill sphere, the invisible gravitational bubble where our planet's gravity rules, is designed by nature to comfortably hold exactly one moon. We are now packing it with dozens. Near-Earth space has turned into a gravitational minefield, but we are not stopping. I keep throwing new rocky worlds into our system. 50, 60, 70, 80 moons. With every single addition, the orbital math becomes exponentially more unstable. The density of the system rises to a critical limit. There is simply no empty space left. The orbits have tangled into such an insane, chaotic web. That the system is literally suffocating. You have to understand the speeds here. These objects are moving at orbital velocities of several kilometers per second. When they hit, it's not a simple rock crash. It is a planetary-scale detonation. Collisions are now happening constantly. Huge rocky spheres smash into each other head-on, releasing kinetic energy that rivals the sun's surface temperature. Solid rock doesn't just break, it flash melts and vaporizes. Millions of tons of this vaporized rock form this eerie, blood-red nebula that wraps ever tighter around our world. We've essentially created a violent, boiling protoplanetary disk right above our heads. The space around Earth is literally on fire. But look right in the center of this blazing cauldron. Unbelievably, Earth is still alive. How is this even physically possible? It comes down to the sheer volume of space and the gravitational slingshot effect. The moons are constantly pulling on each other, often flinging themselves away from Earth at the last millisecond. Our blue planet miraculously dodges direct hits from the giant moons. By the rules of some impossible orbital roulette, these massive objects fly literally a hair away from our atmosphere, smashing into each other, but sparing our home. Earth is surviving this impossible beating. But don't fool yourselves. Life on the surface has already turned into a living nightmare. Imagine looking up at the sky right now. It is no longer blue. Instead of sunlight scattering through a clear atmosphere, the light is choking through billions of tons of silicate dust. The sky burns with an ominous red glow from this red-hot cosmic debris blocking the sun. And this friction is acting like a global oven. Every second, the atmosphere is pierced by thousands of flaming meteors. The atmospheric temperature is rising so fast that the oceans would begin to steam even without the lava. And gravity. The gravity of 80 moons is tearing the planet in all directions simultaneously. We are witnessing extreme tidal heating. This is exactly what Jupiter does to its moon Io, stretching and squeezing it until the solid rock melts from internal friction. The global ocean has gone mad. Monstrous, chaotic tides crash waves kilometers high onto the continents. But it's not just the water. The solid Earth's crust itself is rising and falling by dozens of meters. It groans and cracks from unbearable tension. Every fault line snaps, and supervolcanoes are waking up. Earth is battered. Its surface is unrecognizable, but it holds on with its last strength, balancing on the very edge of destruction. But we promised 100, and we are going all the way. The system is massively overloaded. In orbital mechanics, there is a strict carrying capacity for any gravitational well, and we are about to completely shatter it. One wrong move, and this fragile, chaotic balance will collapse. What will happen when we add the last 20 moons and hit the final mark? Will Earth survive this gravitational suffocation, or will the next impact grind our home into powder? We'll find out right now. Just look at this firestorm. Near-Earth space no longer exists. It has turned into a solid, boiling wall of magma, silicate gas, and millions of tons of red-hot debris. The orbits are tangled so tightly that it looks like a single, pulsating organism, devouring itself. Collisions are happening continuously. Moons grind each other into powder, feeding this giant blood-red nebula. But look closer. Right into the center of this chaos. It just blows my mind. Earth is still there, and it's still intact. Every second, giant rocky spheres rush past our atmosphere at insane speeds. They smash into each other literally millimeters away from Earth. Debris rains down on the surface. The oceans boiled away long ago from the colossal tidal friction. The planet is on fire, but its core holds. Earth refuses to die. The simulation runs, time accelerates, and our blue marble, now glowing white-hot, continues to dodge direct hits by the laws of some impossible probability. It looks like a miracle. Maybe the gravitational balance somehow stabilized? Maybe Earth can survive this 100-fold lunar hell. But the laws of orbital mechanics are cruel, and there are no miracles in physics. A system of 100 massive bodies is fundamentally unstable. Every new collision changes the trajectories of the surviving moons. The gravitational noose tightens. It's too crowded, and this dance of death cannot last forever. And then, the breaking point is reached. The probability counter hits 0. A massive moon, knocked off course by yet another collision, crashes right into Earth on a direct trajectory. An impact of unbelievable power pierces the mantle and reaches the red-hot core. Our planet, which for billions of years was the cradle of life, cannot take it. In an instant, Earth bursts at the seams and shatters into pieces, turning into a colossal, expanding ball of plasma. And in that very second, something we didn't expect happens. Look at the orbital lines of the remaining moons. Earth was their gravitational anchor. It held this whole insane swarm on an invisible chain. But now that the planet's mass has scattered, that chain is broken. The gravity is gone. The surviving moons instantly straighten their trajectories. Like shrapnel from a giant cosmic bomb, dozens of massive rocky worlds fly apart in all directions at extreme speeds. They rush off into deep space to become cold, lonely asteroids. Absolute emptiness, and a slowly cooling cloud of dust. That is all that remains of Earth and its 100 moons. The experiment is officially complete. If this finale made you hold your breath, smash that like button right now and subscribe to the channel. And most importantly, drop your craziest ideas in the comments. What should we collide or destroy next time? I read absolutely all suggestions, and I will definitely make a new video based on the most liked comment. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next simulations.